Hey everybody, this is Sharon.
And this is Desiree.
And this is the Other What podcast. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again for another Other What podcast. This has been fun starting off season 3 and getting into it. So today, this podcast, specifically, I've been thinking a lot about this. As you guys know from our catch-up episode, lots of stuff has been happening. And so today what we're going to do is talk about some of the stuff that's been going on with my new situation and how it's really, it's the whole thing about like, what do you call yourself when you're in this? And so just to recap, for anybody who missed the previous episode, I moved in with my girlfriend. She's got 2 kids under the age of 11. There's an ex-husband involved and the ex-husband's girlfriend, and there's this new dynamic, right, where I'm essentially a parent at this point, but not in reality. Like, you're kind of. That doesn't make sense. Like, it's not like reality, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you birthed the kids or you helped, the DNA is in your, it's like, so it's like you're part of the family, but you're also like part of a chosen family, which we talked about before. Not that there's. So what I wanted to do was really talk about today, like this in between of family, blended families, chosen families, legal, biological families. What does it all mean? And what do you call yourself? Right. So one of the things that has happened to me recently that's really kind of sparked this, and why it's so relevant for the Other What podcast, because I really don't know what to call myself. There have been multiple situations where I've had either little kids come up to me, like at the baseball field, and go, "Who are you?" Yeah. Because they've never seen me before. I'm new to the baseball field. 2, I'm like the only Asian, maybe out of 2 other Asians at the whole baseball field. And they don't know who I am. And I'm sitting with a mom, right? But they don't understand who I am. It totally makes sense. And these are little kids. Other situations where I'm at some kind of like school thing, and a parent will come up and go, "Who's your kid?" And I'm like, "Well, technically I don't have a kid." Like, right. You just like going, and you're like over explaining, and you're like, "Oh my God, why can't I just put a word to it?" Yeah. Right. Or like I had a person at the gym be like, I was talking about the kids with my trainer, and they pretty much were like, "Oh, do you have kids?" And I was like, I literally froze, and I was like, because Amanda wasn't there with me, and I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't have the kids; they're not my kids. So it's been a struggle, right? Like, and we had a discussion with the kids, a few months ago, and I was like, "Is it okay that I say that I'm your mom in front of all these other kids?" And they were like, "Yeah, that's not a problem." But it's so interesting. The kids didn't care. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but for me, it's really hard to know what to call myself. Like, all 3 of these situations, I had no idea what to call myself. And what I wanted to explore today and discuss with you, Desiree, is that whole idea of how society, especially the society I live in here in this like kind of a little bit more suburban, urban, kind of very white enclave, really, we love labels. Yeah. And like me and you have dealt with labels around race, right? Yeah. We're the other race. Nobody knows what the fuck we are. Yeah. The other genders, right? You throw in that we're queer. And then now it's like, who are you? Are you a mom? Are you a stepmom? Are you a co-mom? Oh my God. There's so many. Parent. Yeah. Bonus parent. I've heard assistant mom. People sometimes the kids just call me Sharon. And then this whole Southern thing about putting the miss in front of your name is so weird. I'm like, don't call me Miss Sharon, please. That makes me feel like I'm 80 years old. Please don't do that. I already have an old-timey old lady name. Don't make it worse, So it's really that. And what's weird about it, because I'm in this like really fuzzy in between. I don't know, like, you don't know if you can say I'm their mom, Whereas like, you know, me and Amanda have talked a lot about like, you know, that we are a family unit, that, you know, she wants me to be there in their lives as a co-parent. But to me, like saying the word mom is taking away from her. Like she is their mom. Right. And then we've talked about the word stepmom, and she doesn't like the word step because it kind of has like this negative connotation, right? The evil stepmom and all this kind of stuff. And so I don't know, we've kind of like landed on a few ideas, but I'm almost workshopping them as I talk to people as it comes up. Like,
let's do it.
Co-parent is one, or just other mom, which I think is funny because it's like the other mom, right? But I'm the other mom. Yeah. And I almost feel like that feels the most right, is to say that I'm the other mom. And it's just weird because it's so funny because I'm othering myself. Yeah. I'm saying that I'm an other, right? But it's the only way to distinguish me from that biological connection that I don't have with the kids, right?
Do you think it also has to do with you all are kind of just 2 years, really a year and some change into having the kids more involved? Do you think in like 5 or 6 years you would still be worrying about like what they're calling you? Or do you think it's one of those, like, it's just because it's kind of newer now, so you're trying to figure out where you fit in?
I'm sure I think you're right. I think it's like this newness because it is awkward right now, right? It's this like awkward transition phase. We just moved in together. I'm becoming a bigger part of their lives. I think there's also the awkwardness of getting to know their routines and the people they hang out with, right? So there's all these moms and dads that have been doing baseball since these kids were 5 years old. Yeah. So they all know each other. And there's this like longevity, and maybe they're not like best friends, or friends even, but they've known each other. They're acquaintances. And then now with this new dynamic, here I come in, right? And I'm this other. Not only am I, you know, the wife's girlfriend, I'm Asian, and I'm like I present mask, like it just doesn't fit in their worlds a little bit, right? And like I feel like that also makes it very challenging, that I'm feeling awkward and weird about it. But it's almost like we are challenging the traditional way of the way people perceive families. And I think that, and the fact that they can't name us or name me, it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm sure they don't recognize it, they meaning society, but it probably makes them uncomfortable. And I think that's why we're having so many problems right now in our political climate, because they can't put a name around the fuzzy in between, the intersectionality, the trans people and gay people. We're too outside the box for them, and they can't name us. And so that it becomes harder, right? From that perspective. So anyways, it's tough.
Yeah. So the kids just call you Sharon, but do they want to call you something else? Like, do you want a different name?
I think it's more of just, I'm okay with them calling me Sharon. That feels right. I actually had one of the 11-year-old had a friend over, and they asked me, do you want to be called Sharon or Miss Sharon? And I was like, just call me Sharon. Don't call me Miss Sharon. So like, it's respectful that way. And I appreciate that. Right. I think it's the naming of who I am in relationship to them.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
One, like, I think it's me feeling uncomfortable being in a real family. I've never had this before. Right. And I've never been.
It's not transactional.
It's not transactional. And it's also like, I've been an auntie. I've been a godmother. We're going to talk about that in a second. But like, these are all roles that you can put a box around. Right. This is something that nobody really has a real name for it. Partner, co-parent, other mom, bonus mom. Like, you kind of, it's almost so loosey-goosey. It's hard to know what people are also comfortable with.
Yeah.
So you just have to choose what you're comfortable with is really what is what I've kind of determined. Right. Yeah. And if the kids call me Sharon, but like, it's interesting, like talking to the 11-year-old, he does consider me a parent. Okay, great. He considers me a parent. So how do I introduce myself? I think I'm the one who's the most uncomfortable. The kids don't give a crap.
The one me. Or the only one. That's
right. Exactly. It's all me. It's all my like anxiety and neuroses of being other, and then obviously like labeling myself as other. But but the reality is that this is a blended family, and that we kind of have to come up with those kinds of labels, at least so that we can make people comfortable.
Yeah.
Because we also don't look the same, right? Like the nice thing, I was thinking about this last night, the nice thing about Amanda's ex is that he's dating a woman who is white, who kind of looks like the kids. They're not going to get any weird questions of like, who are you? Right? Because they all look the same. Whereas I get that more often than not, I get a lot of who are yous because I don't look like them. Yeah. And I don't look like anybody else around them. And you're kind of
going into their circles more.
And I'm going into their circles more. Yeah. So I think that also makes it like important for me to put a label around what I am. And I'm going to tell the listeners, like, guys, I tried to look for stuff online about this. It is so there's nothing, right? Like you can find stuff around like being a gay mom, being a mom, being a dad, but there's nothing about being the partner of a mom or a dad and how that affects you. And what's interesting is that I do have friends who have been going through a lot of this, and we're going to talk about some of the advice that they've given me, but they've just had to learn through trial and error. And I'm able to like benefit from some of their advice, but it's not something that's like written down that where you can do that. Yeah. So at this point, like I said, I'm just workshopping stuff. The next time somebody says something to me, I'm not going to freeze like I did before. And I'll use co-parent, or I'm the other mom, or something like that. I'm just going to have to figure out
bonus
what
mom
feels right at that time. Yeah. Or bonus mom or something like that.
Yeah. So. I've dated other people. I've had boyfriends. I've had girlfriends that have had kids. It's really interesting when you're dating somebody that has kids that the other partner or the ex-partner, whether it be an ex-spouse or just a boyfriend or a girlfriend, are still very active in those kids' lives. It does make you kind of feel like, well, what's my place here? How do I, integrate myself into this when it's not really like a needed role, so to speak? So I think that's why a lot of people now are using this bonus term. Even like my girlfriend has 3 bonus kids with her ex because he had 3 kids before they got married. So she's very much pro bonus parent nameage because it feels more inclusive to her. I don't feel like a bonus parent, but that's also because currently I'm not really actively engaged with the kids. So, whenever that time comes that I'm more engaged with them, then, maybe I will feel like a bonus parent, but it is a little sticky because you don't want to overstep. I'm not trying to replace anybody. I don't want to replace your parents. So yeah. What do you call yourself?
No, you're saying all the things. You're saying all the right things. And I think that's kind of where it is. Like, I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think it's just you have to talk to your partner about it, see what they're comfortable with, and then kind of just go with it and go with what feels right.
Yeah. One of my exes, her ex-husband, she and her ex-husband co-parented fairly well with their kid. I think she must have been like 2 or 3 when we met. And, I asked her, what do you want me to have your daughter call me? And she's like, she can call you mom. She can call you Desiree, whatever. And so we kind of just settled on Ima, which is Jewish for mother.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
her daughter would call me Ema, and she would call her mom, her dad. But it was so funny because after like 3 or 4 months, if I was over there, I'm the only person she was calling. She didn't call her mom to come get her in the middle of the night. I would just hear Ema, Ema.
That's cute.
Yeah,
That's really cute.
It was.
It is really cute. I love that. I mean, like, just to close it out, like, the relationship I have with these kids is really special.
Yeah.
We do a lot of really cool things together. So it's not about trying to define that, but I think you're right. I think there is a level of, I don't want to replace anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to assume a role
Mm-hmm.
that somebody else has. I'm not here to do that.
Yeah.
I am here because I fell in love with somebody that has kids,
Mm-hmm.
and the family has accepted me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really special. So now I'm just kind of figuring out where my place is.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what it is. So it'll be a journey, but
Such
all right.
is life.
Well, we're gonna close off this part of the segment here. Lots of thoughts, lots of processing. Please tell me what you think that I should be using as far as terminology in our comments. I'd love to see what you guys have come up with.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Don't sue me for that.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming back, joining us on this like interesting journey on understanding the complexities of belonging and
Mm-hmm.
naming yourself in a new situation, especially around families. So in this segment, what we wanted to talk about is the complexity of chosen family. Because I know a lot of our listeners, it's a lot of that community building that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about in previous episodes. And I think it's really important to talk a little bit about like how we use roles, even with chosen family.
Yeah.
And Desiree, specifically, you have aunties, you call them aunties, but they're not really blood related aunties. And but you have an incredibly special bond with those ladies. And I would love to hear more about having these aunties in your life and how that role has been kind of how it's created in the family that you guys have.
Yeah. So I think for at least within my family and most of the other Black African American folks that I know, we all kind of have like a chosen family that's, not even to do with necessarily being gay at all, but just you have, friends, parents, friends, or co-workers or neighbors that you've kind of just grown up around, and you will, out of respect, call them auntie so-and-so or Miss so-and-so, like an older woman, not a young, spry person like yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it's really special. So I could think of like, I even have friends that their kids call me Aunt Des or Aunt Desiree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool because one, that makes me feel like I'm doing something right, that you would want your children to like know me and understand who I am and your life and appreciate me. And I think that's really special when you get to those types of levels with people.
That's cool.
Yeah. Some of the women in my, who are not necessarily in my family, but they're a part of my family. They're that chosen family. The bond that you develop with these people is so special. And I really sometimes don't have words to put it into. I can think of like one of my parents' friends, Darlene. I don't necessarily call her Aunt Darlene, but when I'm describing her to other people, I'll just say like my Aunt Darlene, because that's just like the easiest way to mention her. She and I have been through a lot, and like the bond that we have is very, very strong. in a way that I don't have that same relationship with my parents.
Wow.
Yeah, we went through a whole, a few years back, she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and I stayed back to kind of help take care of her for a year or so. And going through that type of experience with somebody, especially somebody that's not technically in your family, it's deep. It's deep, it's hard, it's heavy, it's frustrating, and it's beautiful all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, having that relationship has been really, really special, because that's also somebody I can go back to and talk to if I have questions about things, or if it's something that I'm like, my parents are going to give me, kind of a whitewashed answer, or they're not going to get me to the meat and potatoes or something. She's somebody I can kind of go to ask about.
I love that.
Yeah. Do you have any, and you have friends too that, maybe you don't call auntie or uncle, but you've got friends who their kids, probably call you Aunt Sharon.
Did you just see my body language? Yes. I literally was like this. It got, you're going into some very let's just say this. I love that you have such an amazing relationship with these like super close friends of your parents that are like closer to your parents' age, maybe a little bit older. I think that's really cool. And I think the thing that I'm trying to suss out in my head is this an African American thing, a Black thing, and an Asian thing? Is this because I don't see that happening with the white community. I don't see aunties and uncles.
I mean, Black folks, we got tons of play cousins and play aunts. That's what we call them.
I've heard it before where like there are some people that have like, oh, they're my grandma, but they're not my grandma kind of thing. But you don't hear it very often. Oh, auntie this, auntie that, uncle this, uncle that. In Asia, especially in Singapore, when you get into a taxi, you don't even know who the taxi driver is. You call him uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle, take me to blah, blah road, or you're buying something from a lady and, at the market, it's an auntie, right? We use those terms of family, those roles of family, even though they're complete strangers.
Absolutely.
Where again, never heard that with the white community, in the white spaces that I roll around. Maybe I'm just not seeing that. Maybe it's a different kind of white. Maybe it's a generalization I have no idea. But I thought that was super interesting, and the way that you're so close to also the family that is older than you. I think that's just
I love
so cool.
I love my seniors.
Yeah, I think it's so great. I mean, I guess I have like my one gay senior in my life, who's only 10 years older than me, which does that make him senior? That makes me senior. And I love him. And we hang out with his mom, who's definitely senior. So, I do. This affinity, it's definitely there for the older crowd. I think it's also, I'm getting more experience with them.
Yeah.
Whereas with my parents, I can't talk to them. My mom can't hear me. My dad doesn't understand half of what I say. So it's very hard to communicate. So communicating with like, Desiree, with your parents, and they actually can talk back to me, and like, we can have a conversation about zombies and Kung Fu movies. Like, like it just blows my mind that I can have those kinds of conversations with people who are close to family or, in that realm. You would ask me about like the way that I have been in chosen family situations, and I kind of got a little weird, but it's because I was an auntie. I was technically a godmother for several years, and this was chosen family, obviously. And recently, I was told I was not the godmother anymore. And now it's almost weird. It's like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's like, he was the godmother.
Yeah.
And then now I've been downgraded to auntie. Right. And they never used the word auntie before. So it's a very strange term for me to be, because I was always like, whenever I'd be introduced, again, naming the role, I was so proud to say I was their godmother. It made me proud to say it. Right. Because it was something that I owned and I had.
Yeah.
And then when it was taken away, and now you're just auntie, it's like kind of like a stab in the heart, right? Like they took away this role that was very special.
Demoted you, basically.
They demoted me, like. And it kind of sucks. So I think that it's the complexities of chosen family too, of like they will disappoint you just like your real family does, right?
Yeah.
And the complexities of like how do you manage through that kind of role change so quickly? And I wonder if the reason that I'm struggling with the terminology for this new role I'm taking is that I was hurt so much on the previous role, right? Like I really embraced it. It was part of like, it was kind of like, you know how you always have roles. You're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a this, you're a that. Godmother was part of that kind of like the 5 things I was. And when it was taken away, now I'm like, kind of like, I don't know if I want to have something named for me, because what if it gets taken away? And then, oh my God, I'll be so devastated. Right. So I think there's a lot around, there's that. And I think that that fear also then translates into the fear of retaliation from the ex's side. You know, what if he hears me saying I'm the other mom and he doesn't believe that's true, right? Or because he still doesn't understand whatever it might be. I have no idea. So there is a lot of fear around that too, just because we haven't had any conversations with him about what does a blended family really look like? What does he want from a blended family versus what we want from a blended family? And we just don't know. So there's a little bit of that too, to where I want to be very cautious around that, so I don't like make waves, right? It's already tenuous with the custody stuff. I don't want to make waves even worse.
You know, that makes me think that's not something I've considered necessarily, like talking to the other partner or the ex-partner to figure out like, what does this look like for all of us? That's pretty deep.
It is. It's hard to do, though. I think it's really hard. We're definitely not there yet, but it's something that there's a book, and I'll put it in the show notes, that Amanda picked up when we were on vacation once, and it was written by Alicia Keys' husband's ex-wife.
Mashan. What is her name? Mashan.
What is her name? I don't know, but she's famous as well. I don't remember her name, but she wrote a book called Blended, and it talks about having a blended family with Alicia Keys and her husband with their son, and how they really did have to they had to have that conversation. And Alicia Keys and the woman who wrote the book are like, they're partners in this, which I think is amazing. And I think that's where like, it's like the epitome of where people want to be when they come into blended families. But you have to have those really hard conversations first to even get there.
You think having a mediator helps,
what if the partner doesn't want a blended family?
Yeah.
What if they don't want it? They don't want it to be separate. Okay, well, good. At least you know, right?
Yeah.
But it's a hard conversation to have, and I think that's another thing. There's a bit of an unknown element to this because we're still trying to figure it out. One of the things too about the complexity of like being in a chosen family and belonging like this is like understanding that things are just weird and awkward all the time when we're around these situations, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking hate holidays because it's all ritualized.
Yeah.
It's all about rituals, right? You got to have the turkey. You got to have the mashed potatoes. You got to have a Christmas tree. I'm perfectly comfortable saying this to my listeners. I ran away from holidays for 6 years. You know how? I worked every holiday. Yeah. I volunteered to work on Thanksgiving. I volunteered to work on Christmas, and I didn't care, right? Like it allowed me the space to not have to worry about it. Now that I'm in a family, it's very important to them to have these rituals. And I do feel left out sometimes, right? Because I'm not allowed to go to Thanksgiving dinner, or I'm not, right? Because I'm not considered part of, at the time that parent piece, but I don't know if I'm allowed at certain things as well. So I know the catch up episode in episode 1, if you guys listen to it, what was Sharon doing on Christmas Day? She was playing Call of Duty, and that was the best. And I have a ritual of going actually to the movies with my friends on Christmas Eve. My friends, not family, not with the kids and Amanda. Like, I go to the movies, but like with my other two friends, and that's what we do because it's safer. I hate to say it. I've had so many bad instances with chosen family, with not feeling like I belong. It's hard because my family doesn't have rituals. My family doesn't have that belonging. So I really kind of live in a limbo when the holidays come around. And that's where you feel even more othered, right? And so I think like the community that I build online with like playing video games actually helps me feel like I belong to something at a time where everybody else is belonging to their families. This is what I have. This is what I do.
So this year you all are living together. How are you anticipating the holidays?
We don't know. We don't know. And we're literally trying to make it through November or September at this point and then figure it out. But I really don't know. And I am perfectly comfortable doing what I did last year. It was easy. But it's avoidant. Right. And I think, maybe we'll have a session about attachment styles on one of these podcasts, but like it's a very avoidant way to not have to deal with what's happening on that side of this family's world. Right. And I can just like remove myself. But at the same time, it doesn't establish me as a parent.
Right.
Woo!
So many things.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. So like, where do you go with that? And how do you process that? That is really hard. The holidays are gonna I feel like they're gonna suck. And like, I hate the holiday. I will say it right out. I am a bah humbug.
Me too.
I do not like the holidays. I think that it's too much pomp and circumstance, but dang it, my girlfriend loves the freaking holidays. Every single holiday, she has to put something out. And I'm like, oh my God, like skeletons and for Halloween. And like, it's a lot. I love her to death, but like, Desiree, you saw how many Santas we have, right?
Yes.
Y'all,
yes.
This is a Santa. It's a Santa-mageddon.
It is a lot of Santas.
It's a lot of Santas.
It's like horror movie level. A lot of Santas. They're
it's
cute
like
though. Yeah,
they're Chuckies though. They're gonna come out of that box
you need to put a lock on that.
Strangle us.
Put a lock on that box.
Oh my God. It's so
when she was showing me those, I was like, wow, this is intense.
I know. But I love that she's so opposite of me. Like she loves the holidays and I want to love them too. But until I think I can get really comfortable around it, it's always going to be a little awkward for me because it's been awkward for me because I've been avoiding it for like 10 years. Yeah. I'm too busy. I got to work. All that kind of stuff. Anyways.
So now you've got kids.
It's a lot.
And you can't avoid them.
Oh my God. I know. This parent thing.
I know. I've had to have conversations about the holidays because inevitably most of the people I end up dating are Christians. And now since this person also has children, holidays are a big deal. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to figure out how to participate in this.
Yes, it's awkward. I'm not even Jewish and it's awkward for me. So I don't even know. So we'll just have to tough through it together. I feel like
we can do it.
Yeah,
we can do
it.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Woo, okay, guys. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Therapy session.
Yeah, total therapy session. But I hope it resonates with people because, like I said, I couldn't find anything online.
Yeah.
So maybe this helps. Like it's messy. It's awkward. It's weird. You got to throw stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Like you just don't know. And I think that's a lot of what this transition, this part of our lives is about right now. So, but thank you guys all for tuning in and listening, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Yeah. And if anybody knows any therapists who would like to come on, we would love a woman of color, lesbian or bisexual, to come on the podcast. We've got so many things we could use some sound advice for. So, throw your name in the hat. We'd love to have you. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Love ya.
Thank you for listening to the Other What podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating or review, and share it with your friends. It truly helps us grow and reach more ears. This episode was hosted by Sharon Go and Desiree Jamerson and produced by Andrew Marconi. We'd love to hear from you and build our community. Connect with us directly on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at The Other What to react to something we've said, share your own stories or show ideas, and make suggestions. You can also find all our episodes, read show notes, and shop for exclusive merch that supports the show at our website, theotherwhat.com. The Other What is proudly brought to you by 559 Labs. We'll see you next time.